welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering the Hesco Zombie 3-Gun Invitational 2020. This is the first stage down in the woods with rifle and pistol. This first stage that I shot was down in a wooded area, and the scenario was this. You had a car that you would be shooting from. Right before you got in the car, there was one target behind it you had to engage with 3 shots, and you only had a 3-shot magazine. So you fired those shots, and then into the car you went, reloaded, and there was a whole array of targets, from small little steel plates this big up to paper IPSC targets, and you just had to work your way around, firing out all the windows until you were sitting in the driver's position, and you had targets to your direct front, 2 paper and 1 swinger target that you had to make swing. By that I mean it was faced like this, and you hit it and it went behind the head, and you just, that was all you had to do to engage it. The rules here were simple. If you had a paper target, you had to get 3 hits, 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Failure to do that was a miss. Steel was simple. You either rang it or you knocked it down. Pretty straightforward, so knowing whether you got your hits or not was not really much to worry about.
Good time. Some of the folks are already over at the meadow with some of our deer. That's where my stuff is. Oh, really? Well, they're over there. Well, this is not going to stay around and reset. Otherwise, all of us are
So, not my greatest performance ever on this run. First mistake I made, as soon as the buzzer goes off, even though I had loaded my pistol with my 3 rounds, the first thing I did is chambered the thing and ejected a live round. So it's like, oh great, well, just kind of hosed myself there. But I put 2 shots in the target, got in, reloaded, and re-engaged, and then just began to work my way around the target array. I figured, based on my previous experience last year, there would be stages in this event that were target heavy, and I came prepared to that by bringing a couple of happy sticks for my Glock, actually my OZ9, but it's Glock compatible, and that's what I did. As soon as I got in the vehicle, loaded the happy stick, and just started engaging targets till they were all done. Okay, so after you engaged all the targets from inside the car, you safed your pistol, you got out of the vehicle, and then you had 6 long-range targets you had to engage that were deep in the woods and surrounded by a lot of foliage. And here's where I thought I came up with a really good strategy, but it turns out, no, I didn't. I was at the end of the shot rotation, and as I reset targets and just waiting my turn to come up, I noticed that, hey, there's this one spot that if you stand in this one spot about 7-8 feet from the car and you look down range, you can see all the targets, all 6 targets. So you can just get in one spot and just go through them. And it seemed like a really good idea. In retrospect, it wasn't. And the reason it wasn't is that while I could see all 6 targets, what I was seeing though was partial images. Some were like maybe a little bit obscured by a tree, or there was foliage hanging down where I was seeing the color of the target but not the complete target distinctly. And I would have been far better served by going to a shooting position, engaging a couple targets, moving to a shooting position, engaging another couple targets, and then finally moving and engaging the last of the targets. That would have served me better because, as you saw in the video, I got the first one right away because it was the one that was easiest to see no matter where you were at. All the others, though, with the scope setting I had, which was way too high for illumination, and that's a training scar I'll have to talk about later, it was just washing out the target into the foliage, and when I'd put the dot over it, the little bits of the target I could see was just indistinct, so I was firing where I think the target should be, and the hits just weren't coming. The only thing I could do to salvage it was as I would just switch from target to target to target, round robin style, because I didn't want to get hung up, fixated on a target, and then get nailed with a bunch of failure to engage points. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to today's edition of Pegasus Test. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in tomorrow for more coverage of the Hesco Zombie 3-Gun Invitational 2020.